guys doing in terms of practice today?
It'll be primarily a walkthrough, jog through tempo, just with the number of guys that we had playing in and having the short week. Definitely wanted to do a little bit more, but following the advice of our medical staff in regards, then we'll have 2 really good days coming up here tomorrow and what is that, Thursday?
We get a day in pads tomorrow?
Yes.
Do you feel like all your key guys are healthy and ready to go after getting kind of lighter duty this week or last week?
Yeah, I think, we're in pretty good health right now. So I think the most important thing is just for all those guys just that did play, get their bodies back. And then we have to have a great week of preparation.
Do you anticipate Malik would be able to be the backup quarterback this week?
I would anticipate that.
And Dontavian Wicks, has he been cleared to practice?
He is not cleared. He's not cleared the protocol, but the practice is part of the return to play.
Now you got a chance to look back at it, how'd you think Diggs did Saturday or Sunday? Gosh dang it, my days are all confused too.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. It's Wednesday in our world, so I thought there was a lot of good things that he did. So it's just about getting him up to speed so that half or doesn't feel like there's things that we cannot call.
Is that possible?
I think so, absolutely. He's been putting in extra time and meeting with DA and the rest of our DB coaches, and he's been doing a really nice job. And it's not, his learning curve is going to be a little bit different than a lot of other players, and the fact that he's played a ton of football.
What were the good things that stood out with him, especially in the situation he's in, Week 18, coming in with a new team?
I just think he played physical. He had one play where he had a nice punch at the ball. So that was really what stood out to me.
How much have you talked to the team and showed them the tape from 3 weeks ago? Was it just the day after and put it to bed? Do you bring up a lot of those same things this week?
No, absolutely. We always kind of just talk about some of where our focus needs to be and things that we have to do better, and just what the opposition is going to present.
With how that ended, do you sense the same amount of resolve and disbelief over how that went as you showed that?
No, I think that's in the past. I think there's nothing we can do about that. We just got to look to the future.
How valuable do you think experience is in a week like this? You're going against an opponent that doesn't have any postseason experience. This is your 3rd straight year in it.
Yeah, I think there's some value in that, but ultimately it's about just being able to go out there and kind of channel your emotion and go out and execute. So the team that typically can do that the best is probably going to be the team that wins the game.
Is it just a football game at the end of the day? I mean, you don't have to treat it any differently. Obviously, the stakes are higher and all, but
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing our guys have been doing all season long. It's a tough opponent on the road, a division rival. There's obviously going to be a lot of excitement, everywhere about this game. So, we just got to go play our type of game.
You've played them a number of times, but can you appreciate how historic this matchup is in the postseason against the Bears, how rare it is for you guys to play them?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool deal. I think anytime you're talking about division rivals and you're in the playoffs with a lot at stake, I think it just heightens it a little bit.
Is there an added challenge this week trying to switch things up because you've seen the same opponent 3 times in the last month?
I would say it's the same for both. We're both in the same boat.
Hey Matt, you always talk about taking advantage of your opportunities. Did you think Sorrell, Cox, and Colin Oliver did that? Can you use them a little bit more in this game?
Yeah, potentially. I think they definitely showed well. I was really impressed with their style of play, their effort, and their ability to go out there and make some plays. So I thought all 3 of those guys did a really nice job.
Josh had 4 carries against Baltimore, didn't play last week. What kind of shape is that knee in? Is this about as fresh as he's been in some time?
I think that's a better question for Josh. I'm sure you guys will get an opportunity to ask him later, but he seems like he's in great spirits.
What would it do if you guys could get Zach Tom back for the first time in a month?
Well, I think that'd be a huge get. I mean, he's our most consistent offensive lineman. He's one of the best, I think, in the league and at his position. And so, yeah, that would definitely be a boost.
Do you expect him to play Saturday?
I would expect him.
Yeah, you know, you've had a number of games down the stretch, 6 games, I think you had well over 300 yards. But has there been anything you feel like has been just missing from the offense that you would like to see taken to another level? I know the red zone is one issue where you had some issues.
You just took the words right out of my mouth, Spoon. I mean, you got to finish. You got to score touchdowns in the red zone, and that's the bottom line. I think it doesn't. You can move the ball in between the 20s all day long, but you have to finish drives, and you can't have, just every play is so pivotal down there. You can't have any mistakes. There's no wasted plays. It just sets you behind the sticks. And, I mean, that's not where you want to be against this defense.
What's your message to your pass rush guys on trying to get Caleb on the ground? You've had pressure, but you haven't been able to get him on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, he's dynamic. He is dynamic back there, and his ability to make people miss, get out of the pocket, make throws from in the pocket. I think he's playing really, really good football right now. He definitely has progressed over the course of the season. I think some of those throws he's made are there's not many that can make those.
Hey, Matt, where do you think your defense post Micah's injury is at? You said last week, just do your job. Don't try to do more than you're supposed to. But on the flip side of that, you also need to do your job better, even if you're not trying to do more. Where do you kind of evaluate your defense going into the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's been some tough moments and some things that we got to learn from and get better at. But I do like the headspace we're in going into this game, and ultimately it's going to come down to the execution. I mean, we got to do a great job, and it's all 11 being on the same page. This is a really talented offense. They got a great offensive line, and it's a challenging scheme. So we need everybody at their best.
You've obviously been busy, but I know you're really close with Raheem Morris. Have you had a chance to contact or reach out to him since what went down in Atlanta?
Yeah, I've talked to Raheem. Certainly never want to see that. You never want to see it, period, but especially for one of your closest friends. And just, I thought he did a really nice job, with that push at the end of the season.
Is there any thoughts to using him as an extra set of eyes for the playoff run?
I mean, everything's up in the air, but I have not talked to him about that.
Now, why did Keyshawn start in the game? Did he want to do that, or did you want him to play a little bit? Why was that?
He asked me if he could start. And I said, yeah, you can start, but you're going to play the whole first series then.
I mean, obviously, the last time you played these guys, he gave up the big play. Do you feel good about, kind of speaking of headspaces, where he's at?
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially in this league, at that position, you better have a short memory, because there's going to be times when you're going to get beat. That's just the name of the game, and you got to be able to play the next play, and that's what I expect out of him.
Jordan, go ahead.
When you watch the Bears 49ers game, do you look at that game as a breakdown of defenses in the second half, or just two quarterbacks, playing at their highest level?
What was the first part of that?
When you watch that Bears 49ers game, the tape of that game, was that a breakdown in defenses, or are those two offenses performing at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, you could look at it either way you want to. I think both quarterbacks played outstanding football. I mean, that game was back and forth, and there was some great execution. And I always tell our team this, or people in general, like, especially in the pass game, if somebody makes a throw, sometimes there's no defense for the perfect throw, and there were a lot of those in that game.
It's just, but does that also show where Caleb's development is at?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's obviously a very talented quarterback, and there's always a learning curve for all these guys when they come into the league, and I think he's kind of hitting his stride right now, so it's going to be a great challenge for us.
What's your level of confidence in Jordan to do whatever he needs to win you guys a game here in the playoffs?
I've got a ton of confidence in him, but it's not just about him. I think a lot of times, the quarterback is going to get too much credit when you win and too much blame when you lose, and that's just the nature of it. But I think that there's nobody else I'd rather have, than Jordan.
How much of a difference is it? It's obvious, but how much in your mind, putting it into words, is the difference of having Christian Watson for the playoffs this year versus not having him last year?
I'd say it's pretty significant. I mean, the guy's a dynamic player. He changes how defenses can play you, because you have to account for him on every play, because he's just capable of that explosive playmaking ability that he has.
With Jordan, how much of a workload did he have last week in practice, and how did he look in that workload?
He looked good. He looked good. He had, I would say, a pretty normal workload, so he looked good.
Did you guys pay any attention to Bears prep or Bears film? It seemed likely that this would be the matchup last week.
Maybe.
Now, where do you think you were going in that last Bears game before Jordan got hurt? I mean, did you feel good about the way you were playing offensively? Missed the play down at the goal line, pass.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I wish we'd have called a different play. I mean, at the end of the day, but we didn't, and just missed it. I thought, I mean, we were moving the ball, but again, it comes down to what we talked about earlier. You got to finish in the red area, and unfortunately, kicked enough field goals to get us beat, or didn't score at all. In that instance, when you look at it, when you don't convert on a fourth down, we had a fumble. I mean, that's 2 turnovers in the red area.
Matt, I know this is one of your favorite parts of your day when you get to talk to us. I'm curious, philosophically, do you intend, like McCarthy used to say he was boring by design. Obviously, some coaches decide to get to the podium and say things that might poke their opponent. Do you make a conscious effort to avoid that kind of stuff? How do you kind of approach this part of your job?
I just try to give you as much honesty as I can, so and as much transparency as long as it doesn't hurt our football team.
Matt, being so, both games against Chicago came down at least to the final play, or at least that final series, crunch time. It was 2-minute drill, 1-minute drill. How do you approach that in practice? Is that something you really focus on, knowing the last 2 also came down to crunch time in that last 2 minutes, 1 minute?
Yeah, I mean, 2 minutes are part of our process each and every week, so certainly I think there's an added emphasis in regards to just when you play good football teams, you can't have wasted plays, and that goes in every phase of the game. So just how you best combat that is you got to be dialed in. Everybody's got to be on the same page every play, because you just never know which one's going to be the significant play in the game.
Being so this late in the season, do you add in any new wrinkles to that 2-minute, 1-minute thing?
We'll have to wait and see on that.
Is Willis healthy enough to take all the 2 snaps? And if so, do you have him this week? Tell him, play like Williams and get out of the pocket whatever you can and try to make throws?
We'll see. I mean, I got to go out and see how he's feeling, and he's progressing back, so we'll see where he's at.
2 more, please. Is it different having Jordan now as opposed to a couple of years ago entering a playoffs? Like, do you game plan differently? Do you play call differently just because he's kind of been there and done that with the experience that he's got?
I don't really think back to those moments too much. I'm kind of trying to stay in the moment right now and just kind of where we're at. And I would tell you this, that I've got so much confidence in not only him, but everybody around him to go out there and execute the way I think we're capable of executing. So, I don't know. I definitely didn't answer your question there.
I guess, does experience matter? I mean, not that he's played 50
It
playoff
does.
games.
I think it matters, yeah. I think it matters. Just, you try, when you get into these situations, you try not to make it more than what it is. And it's, for us, for our mindset, it is the next game.
Do you pull on past moments in the postseason, though, when you are putting together your prep for this week? Like, this happened in this situation on this stage, and that's going to factor in?
No, I don't think you can. I think you learn from every situation, but I don't think you can. You're comparing apples and oranges the way I look at it. It's different opponents, different circumstances, different matchups. You got to take it for what it is.
Did you guys have a chance, or did you use last week, I know it was a crazy week, but to do like a self-scout or anything like that, just to see where you were at in certain areas?
I would say that's ongoing. I think most teams in the league, throughout the course of the season, it's just every week you're checking things, and you got people assigned to, try to cover up any blind spots of tendencies that may be alarming to an opponent.
Have you been able to use your many guys that you have on scholarship or whatever that is, to help?
Employed.
Yeah. I mean, have they been able to help you in terms of?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got a great group, and they're always trying to uncover any nugget we can get.